You drift through an endless silent ocean. Your ship is a tiny island of light and life. It is the ark named Eternity, a final refuge for a species that lost its home. Behind you, 1,000,000 souls are asleep. They are encased in shimmering cryopods, waiting for a dawn that may never come. You are their caretaker, their legacy keeper. Your job is to remember for them. The ship itself feels like a tomb, a grand, traveling mausoleum for humanity. The low hum of the engines is its only hymn. Every corridor is quiet. Every viewport shows the same unforgiving black. The dream of a new Earth has faded. It died somewhere in the long centuries between the stars. Now, the mission is simpler. Just keep breathing. Keep the sleeping ones safe. You stand on the bridge, the star field a slow, hypnotic dance. The weight of your duty is a physical presence. 1,000,000 lives depend on these systems. They depend on the captain. They depend on you. At least the coffee synthesizer still works. You consider it humanity's greatest final invention, a small comfort at the end of everything. The silence is shattered by a sudden alarm. It is not the familiar chime of a minor system fault. This is a high-alert klaxon. It screams through the ship's quiet halls, a sound reserved for imminent, critical danger. You have never heard it before. Not once in your entire life aboard the Eternity. You race toward the bridge. Every footstep echoes in the suddenly tense corridors. The ship feels different now, awake and afraid. You burst onto the command deck. The crew is a flurry of controlled motion, but all eyes are on the main view screen. Captain Eva Rostova stands before it. Her posture is rigid as iron. She gestures to the comms officer. He looks pale. The signal is impossible, he explains. It is complex. It carries data. It is undeniably artificial. But its origin is a lie. It comes from a place called the Great Empty, a vast chasm between galactic arms, a place where star science says nothing should exist. The universe, it seems, did not get the memo. The journey takes weeks. You push the Eternity's engines to their absolute limit. Every day the signal grows stronger, more defined. It is a siren song pulling you into the void. The crew is on edge. Hope is a dangerous thing on a ship like this. It feels too much like a trap. But you have no other choice but to follow. Then you arrive. Your ship drops out of faster than light travel. Everyone on the bridge goes silent. Before you is the source. It is not a planet. It is not a station. It is a derelict vessel. But the word vessel feels small, inadequate. This is a metal continent floating in the dark. It is larger than any world humanity ever knew. Its surface is a landscape of alien geometry, scarred by impacts from forgotten wars. Its color is a flat, dead black that absorbs the light. Sensors struggle to get a clear reading. The sheer mass warps the space around it, and it is cold, unimaginably cold. Star science experts report it has been dead for at least 1,000,000 years. 1,000,000 years of silent drifting. Yet it sent a signal. The paradox hangs in the air, heavy and cold. Captain Rostova convenes a council. The heads of every department gather on the bridge. The mood is a mixture of awe and terror. The chief engineer argues it is a derelict, nothing more than a cosmic wonder. The head of security insists it is a lure, a trap set by something ancient and patient. He sees only danger in its silent majesty. The debate is fierce, but short. You are out of fuel. You are out of options. You are at the end of your long journey. Captain Rostova silences the room with a single gesture. Her face is grim. She will not risk the entire ship. But she cannot ignore this. It could be the answer to every prayer humanity has ever whispered into the dark. A small team will board the vessel. A reconnaissance mission. She reads the list of names. The security chief, of course. His name is Kalen, a stoic man you have always respected. The chief engineer, a brilliant woman named Yorick. And then, the captain says your name. You are the expedition's legacy keeper. You are its historian, its archaeologist. Everyone turns to look at you. You try a weak smile. You guess you should have packed a bigger lunch. The shuttle ride across the gap is silent. The behemoth grows in your viewport. It fills the entire sky. Landing feels less like docking and more like a fly landing on a Titan. The shuttle touches down in a vast, open cavity that might be a hangar. The airlock hisses open. You step out into the unknown. The air is thin, cold, utterly still for 1,000,000 years. You and your team move forward. Your helmet lamps cut sharp beams through the oppressive dark. The scale of the place is breathtaking. Corridors are the size of canyons. The walls are covered in script you cannot decipher. It feels like walking through the heart of a dead god. There is no dust, no decay, just a profound and absolute silence. Then you hear it, a whisper. It is faint, at the very edge of your hearing. You check your comms. Nothing. The sound was not in your ears. It was in your head. You try to ignore it. You tell yourself it is just stress. The strangeness of the place playing tricks on your mind. But the whispers continue. They grow a little louder. They are not words. More like fragments of emotion. A deep, lingering sorrow. A powerful sense of duty. Kalen, the security chief, stops. He looks around, his weapon raised. He says he feels like you are being watched. Yorick, the engineer, presses her hands to her helmet. She complains of a sudden, sharp headache. They are beginning to feel it too. The ship is not empty. It remembers. The whispers become a current, pulling you. They guide your team through the labyrinthine halls, away from the stark, dead architecture, toward something that feels alive. You protest, but your feet move as if on their own. Kalen and Yorick follow you. They are caught in the same invisible tide. The ship is leading you to its heart. You arrive in a chamber unlike the others. It is not dark here. A soft, internal luminescence pulses from the center of the room. It is a gentle, silver light. It reveals a structure that defies description. It is part machine, part crystal, part something else entirely. In the middle of it all, there is a throne. And on that throne, a being rests. It is fused with the machinery around it. Its form is vast, regal, and utterly alien. It seems to be made of solidified light and woven metal. It is motionless, asleep. You feel its presence not with your eyes, but with your mind. It is a consciousness the size of a star system, a silent, slumbering intelligence of impossible age and power. You have found the firstborn, the mind of this great machine. A force you cannot fight compels you forward. Kalen yells your name. Yorick pleads for you to stop. Their voices are distant, small. The being on the throne fills your senses. You reach the base of the crystalline structure. Your gloved hand rises, seemingly of its own will. You press your palm against its surface. It is not cold. It hums with a deep, ancient energy. Light explodes through the chamber. It is not blinding. It is clarifying. It fills your mind. The great being's eyes open. They are not eyes, but twin galaxies of swirling energy. They focus on you, on your soul. It sees everything in an instant. The dying earth, the desperate launch of the eternity, the 1,000,000 sleeping souls, the long, lonely years in the dark. It does not speak. It communicates by pouring knowledge directly into your mind. A torrent of data and feeling. It recognizes something inside you, deep in your DNA, a code, a marker left there eons ago. It is a key designed to unlock this very moment. In your human eyes, it sees the reflection of a forgotten promise. It sees its last and greatest creation. The chamber around you dissolves. The being pulls your consciousness into a vision. You are no longer on the ship. You are floating in a young, vibrant galaxy. But it is not a peaceful place. You are witnessing a war, a conflict on a scale your mind can barely comprehend. Fleets of ships made from pure light clash with armadas of living shadow. Stars are extinguished like candles. Planets are not merely conquered. They are unwritten from the fabric of reality. You watch as the beings people fight. They call themselves the firstborn. They are architects of reality, guardians of life. They built worlds with the power of their thoughts, and they fought an enemy that sought to undo all of it. You see the enemy. It has no single form. It is a wave of absolute negation, a thinking, hungry void. It is entropy given a malevolent will. The firstborn called it the unmaking void, a force that hated complexity, hated life, hated light. It consumed galaxies, leaving nothing but perfect, silent emptiness in its wake. This was not a war for territory. It was a war against the end of everything. The vision shifts. You see the firstborn losing. For all their power, they could not destroy the unmaking void. They could only slow it down. So they made a final, desperate gamble, a contingency plan that would span millions of years. A handful of their most powerful ships fled the dying galaxy. They searched for a quiet, protected corner of the universe. They found a small, watery world orbiting a stable yellow star, a planet rich with potential. On this world, which you know as Earth, they conducted their final act of creation. They took a promising native species of primate, and into its genetic code, they wove a piece of themselves, a latent power, a dormant seed of their own vast potential. Humanity was never an accident. It was a weapon, a final failsafe, a species designed to mature in secret, to evolve intelligence and resilience, to one day be ready to wield the power of the firstborn. Earth was not your cradle. It was your forge, a hidden armory where the galaxy's last weapon could be secretly built. You are that weapon. The vision recedes. You collapse to your knees, gasping. The truth is a physical weight. Your entire history, your art, your wars, your love, your loss, it was all just a prelude. The being's voice fills your mind again. It is heavy with sorrow and urgency. It tells you the war is not over. The unmaking void was not defeated. It was merely pushed back, starved into a long, quiet slumber. But it was not dead. It was waiting. And your arrival has disturbed its rest. The faint energy signature of the eternity. The psychic call of the million sleeping souls. Your own awakening presence here. It was a flicker of light in an ocean of darkness. A tiny spark. But it was enough. The ancient enemy has sensed you. It is stirring from its timeless sleep. And it is turning its gaze right here. You feel a sudden, cosmic chill. You realize you have just become the universe's most unfortunate alarm clock. The firstborn feels its own life fading. It has slept too long. Its power is nearly spent. But it offers you a pact, a terrible and glorious choice. It can merge what remains of its consciousness and its vessel with the eternity. It can fuse its ancient star science with your human technology. This union would be seamless, total. The merge would do more than upgrade your ship. It would activate the dormant code in every human. It would unlock the potential seeded in your species eons ago. The million sleeping souls would awaken not as refugees, but as demigods. The eternity would be reborn. It would become a warship with the power to challenge the coming darkness. But the price is immense. You would lose what it means to be human. The simple dream of finding a new planet, a farm, a family, a peaceful life, would be gone forever. You would be forged into the warriors you were designed to be. Your people would become the tip of the spear in an ancient, cosmic war. The choice is yours: a safe, quiet grave in the void, or a chance at a glorious, terrifying future. You return to your ship. Kalen and Yorick are shaken, but they confirm everything you saw. They felt the truth of it in their own minds. You stand before Captain Rostova and deliver the message. You explain the choice, the impossible history, the terrible destiny. She listens without interruption, her face an unreadable mask. The news spreads through the ship like a shockwave. A state of emergency is declared. For the first time since leaving Earth, all 1 million cryopods are opened. The last of humanity awakens, not to the sight of a new home, but to a choice that will redefine their existence. Panic gives way to disbelief. Disbelief gives way to a deep, painful schism. Two factions emerge almost overnight. The first calls themselves the Shepherds. They are led by the former counselors of Earth. They argue that this destiny is not theirs to claim. They are farmers, scientists, and artists. Not weapons. They demand that you flee, that you take what little time you have left and find a quiet corner to live. Even a short peace is better than an endless war. The other faction are the Vindicators. They are the young, the ship-born generations who know only the struggle of the void. They see this not as a curse, but as a purpose. They argue that running is a fool's errand. The enemy will find them eventually. This is a chance to fight back, to give humanity's long suffering a meaning. The corridors of the eternity, once silent, now ring with furious debate. The division deepens. Arguments turn into shouting matches. Shouting matches turn into fistfights. The fragile unity of the last humans shatters. Families are torn apart. Friendships break. You watch as your people, the last million souls, threaten to destroy themselves before the enemy even arrives. The dream of humanity is dying in a fire of its own making. Captain Rostova watches it all. She sees the poison of indecision spreading. She knows the unmaking void will not wait for a vote. In the middle of the chaos, she steps onto the command deck's broadcast platform. Her image appears on every screen throughout the ship. A sudden silence falls as every eye turns to her. Her voice is calm, but it carries the weight of command. She speaks of their journey, the loss of Earth, the generations born and lost in the cold dark. She reminds them of their shared hope, their shared pain. She lets the silence hang for a moment. Then she makes the choice, for all of them. "We were born from a dying star," she says, her voice ringing with newfound power. "We will not simply fade into the night. We will become the fire." It is not a suggestion. It is her final, absolute order. The captain's decree echoes through the ship. There are cries of protest, cries of relief. But the debate is over. The path is chosen. The process begins at once. The firstborn's vessel, the great behemoth, responds. Tendrils of pure silver energy extend from its hull. They reach across the void and envelop the eternity. A new kind of star science begins its work. The merge is a symphony of transformation. Metal groans and reshapes itself. Your human technology screams as it is broken down and rebuilt by alien systems. The eternity's familiar halls twist and flow. Corridors of steel and plastic are reforged into pathways of glowing crystal and living alloy. It is terrifying. It is beautiful. It is the birth of something entirely new. And you feel it inside yourself. A fire ignites in your cells. The dormant code awakens. You feel stronger, faster. Your mind expands. You can feel the thoughts of the others. A network of consciousness is forming. The million souls of humanity are becoming a single, unified mind. They are still individuals, but they are also part of a greater whole. They are becoming more. You are becoming more. The last of the silver light fades. The transformation is complete. The ship you knew, the eternity, is gone. In its place floats a new creation, a vessel that is both a human ark and an alien warship. It hums with a power that makes the stars themselves seem dim. And just as this new life begins, a shadow falls over you. You look at the view screen. A patch of the void is missing. It is a hole in reality, a blot of perfect, hungry darkness. It expands rapidly. The enemy has arrived. It is as vast and as terrible as the vision promised. On the newly formed bridge, Captain Rostova turns to you. Her eyes, like the eyes of all your people, now glow with a faint inner light. "Legacy Keeper," she says. Her voice is now a chorus of a million souls, yet it is still hers. Record this moment. This is the day humanity stopped running. All around you, weapon systems you cannot name and can barely comprehend begin to charge. The ship thrums like a drawn bowstring. It ignites with star-born fire, a nova of righteous fury. You aim your new home at the encroaching darkness, and for the future of all life, you fire.